the last 3 months, because of COVID-19, schools have been shut. I hope that these materials that we present today will be beneficial to students in their final year of secondary or high school.
Hello viewers, welcome to this platform once again. Today we shall be considering the concept of salts, pH and pH scale in chemistry. The concept of salts, pH and pH scale in chemistry. Now pH is the degree of acidity, alkalinity, neutrality of a chemical substance. pH is mathematically defined as the negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration at base 10. As you can see from the screen, the pH is mathematically summarized as it can be seen on the screen here. Now, pH scale is a numerical scale that ranges from 0 to 14. It tells us the degree of acidity, neutrality, and alkalinity of a chemical substance. pH values ranges from 0 to 6 is said to be acidic. pH values that ranges from 8 to 14 is said to be alkaline, while a pH value of 7 is said to be neutral. pH is of a very great importance in diverse fields of sciences, from agriculture, where the acidity of water, especially in fishery, is very important for the survival of fishes. Acidity of the soil is also important to the appropriate growth of plants, and it is also very important in medicine, especially extreme pH can be lethal to the existence of man. Now, the concept of salt. Salt is formed when the replaceable hydrogen atom of an acid is either fully or partially replaced by a metallic ion or ammonium ion. We have different types of salt. First, we have the normal salt. A normal salt is said to be formed when the replaceable hydrogen ion of the acid is completely replaced by the metallic ion, whether it's from the base or from just a single existing metallic ion. Example below is the reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide, as you can see, to form sodium chloride and water. Now, sodium chloride is a salt formed here, is an example of a normal salt. Another example or types of salt is what we call the acidic salt. Acidic salt is said to be formed when the replaceable hydrogen ion of the acid is partially replaced by the metallic ion from the base. Now, example of acidic salt is the reaction between sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide to form sodium hydrogen tetraoxosulfate 6 and water. If you look at this salt very, very well, you can see that one of the replaceable hydrogen ion of the acid have not been replaced by the metallic ion. You can see this is a remainder of the hydrogen ion of the acid not being completely replaced by the sodium ion. So this sodium hydrogen tetraoxosulfate 6 is an example of an acidic salt. Another example or types of salt is basic salt. Basic salt is said to be formed when there is insufficient acid to neutralize the base. Example of basic salt can be seen in the reaction between lime water, calcium hydroxide, and hydrochloric acid. Now, another example of salt is double salt. Double salts are salts that ionizes in water to produce at least 2 cations. An example of double salt is sodium aluminum tetraoxosulfate 6 salt. This is also known as alum. It has great importance in the purification of water, especially the first stage of the purification of water known as coagulation or flocculation, where water suspended particles of cloudy water are aggregated together. Now, the third example of salt is complex salt. Complex salts are formed where 2 or more salts are combined together to form a complex salt. Example is tetraamine copper 2 ion, which that has a deep blue color. Now, what are the various categories of soluble and insoluble salt? All potassium, sodium, and ammonia salts are soluble. Now, all sorts of trioxosulfates are insoluble except that of potassium and sodium and ammonium salts of trioxosulfates. All chloride salts are soluble except those of silver, mercury, and lead chloride. All trioxocarbonate salts are insoluble except those of potassium, sodium, and ammonium salt. All acid salts are soluble. All salts of tetraoxosulfate 6 are soluble except that of barium chloride. Now, salts have different uses and application in life. One is, example of the uses of salts are, first, sodium chloride is used in food industry as even in as a condiment in our food preparation, even as a preservative because of its extreme osmotic pressure. Now, second is magnesium sulfate. It's used as a purgative or as laxative. This magnesium sulfate, for those of you that are conversant with Andrew liver salt, that is the major component of Andrew liver salt, magnesium sulfate, also known as Epsom salt. We have calcium chloride. It's used as an antifreeze, especially in very cold regions of the world, to reduce the melting point of ice. Calcium chloride is also used as a drying agent. It's used as a desiccant in laboratory. Copper sulfate is used as a fungicide, while ammonium chloride is used as an electrolyte in primary cells that cannot be recharged. The class activity I leave you with is this. Categorize the following salt into soluble and insoluble salt to test your understanding of what you have just gone through. Thank you for listening. Always come on board on this platform. Thank you. Goodbye.